the morning food many men over 60 ignore. But doctors don't. Before you swallow another pill, before you blame age, genetics, or just getting older, I want to ask you something uncomfortable. What if the real issue isn't what you've lost over the years, but what you stopped starting your mornings with? Most men over 60 wake up and repeat the same ritual. Coffee first, maybe toast, maybe nothing at all. They rush the morning, numb the body, stimulate the mind, and call it normal. And slowly, quietly, energy fades, circulation dulls, strength becomes memory, desire becomes theory. Doctors don't talk about this enough, and men don't like to admit it. But there is a morning food, simple, unglamorous, almost boring, that many men ignore. Not because it doesn't work, but because it doesn't feel dramatic enough. It doesn't come in a bottle. It doesn't promise miracles. And yet, doctors pay attention to it because it works with your body, not against it. Here's the truth we rarely say out loud. After 60, your body does not respond to force. It responds to support. You can't bully circulation back into existence. You can't shame your metabolism into speeding up. You can't pressure your hormones into behaving like they're 40 again, but you can invite your body to cooperate. The morning is when this invitation matters most. Overnight, your system slows, blood thickens slightly, muscles stiffen, inflammation quietly rises. This is not failure, it's biology. But what you eat in the first hour after waking determines whether your body continues that slow state or reverses it. Many men skip breakfast thinking they're being disciplined. They think hunger equals strength. But after 60, skipping the wrong nutrients doesn't build resilience. It erodes it. Doctors look at patterns, not trends. And one pattern keeps appearing. Men who start their mornings with the right foundational food show better circulation, steadier energy, improved muscle response, and yes, better function in places men rarely discuss openly, not because the food is magical, but because it sends a signal that says, we are safe, we are fueled, we can open the pathways. This food does something coffee cannot. It does something supplements try to imitate. It does something late-night dinners undo. It works quietly beneath awareness, restoring something essential, flow. And flow is everything. Blood flow, nerve communication, joint lubrication, even emotional presence. Because when the body feels deprived, the mind becomes anxious. When circulation improves, confidence returns, not loudly but steadily. Now here's where men often resist. They say, I've eaten that before. Nothing changed. But timing matters. Context matters. Consistency matters. A food eaten randomly is just calories. A food eaten intentionally, first thing in the morning, becomes information. Doctors understand this. Marketers don't. And the reason many men ignore this morning food is psychological, not nutritional. It feels too simple, too ordinary. It doesn't stroke the ego. It doesn't feel like a fix. But aging well is not about fixing. It's about aligning. Aligning with what your body is asking for now, not what it needed decades ago. This is not about turning back the clock. It's about stopping the silent slide. If you've noticed slower mornings, colder hands, stiffness that lingers, motivation that fades before noon, this is not random, it is cumulative, and the first forkful of your day is more powerful than you think. Stay with me, because in a moment, I'm going to reveal why doctors quietly prioritize this food, why most men misunderstand how to use it, and what happens when you finally give your body what it's been waiting for every single morning. And once you hear it, you may never start your day the same way again. Let me slow this down, because this is where most men miss the point. The body after 60 is not broken. It is selective. It no longer responds to chaos. It no longer tolerates neglect disguised as toughness. It listens carefully now, and every morning It asks one quiet question. Will you take care of me today? Or will you push me again? That ignored morning food doctors pay attention to is not exotic. It's not trendy. It doesn't have a celebrity endorsement. In fact, that's exactly why men dismiss it. Because it feels ordinary, whole, grounding, protein-rich, easy to digest, paired naturally with healthy fats. Doctors value it because it stabilizes blood sugar early, because it feeds muscle tissue before breakdown begins, because it signals the vascular system to open gently instead of forcing it with stimulants. Most men over 60 do the opposite. They wake up dehydrated. They flood the system with caffeine. They delay real nourishment. And then they wonder why by mid-morning they feel flat, foggy, irritable, or oddly disconnected from their own bodies. This is not weakness, it's chemistry. When the body doesn't receive amino acids and steady fuel early, it compensates by tightening. Blood vessels constrict. Cortisol rises. The nervous system stays guarded. Over time, that guarded state becomes normal. Doctors see this pattern constantly. Men who eat light in the morning often experience heavier fatigue later. Men who skip foundational nutrients early struggle more with circulation, recovery, and hormonal balance, even if their labs look fine. Because lab numbers don't tell the full story. Your lived energy does. Now here's the part no one tells you. This morning, food works best not because of what it adds, but because of what it prevents. It prevents muscle cannibalization. It prevents blood sugar crashes. It prevents that subtle sense of weakness that creeps in and gets blamed on age. And when men finally add it back, consistently, calmly, without drama, something unexpected happens. They feel present again, not hyper, not wired. Present, hands feel warmer, movement feels smoother, confidence returns in the body before it returns in the mind. This is why doctors care. Because medicine is not only about extending life, it's about preserving agency, the ability to feel steady inside your own skin. And yet, many men resist this shift because it forces a deeper reckoning. It means admitting that the old way, pushing, skipping, ignoring, no longer serves them. It means choosing nourishment over numbness, and that choice can feel strangely emotional. I've spoken to countless men who say, when I changed my mornings, I didn't just feel stronger. I felt calmer, less reactive, more grounded. Of course they did, because the body is the foundation of the psyche. You cannot feel emotionally secure in a body that feels underfed. You cannot feel confident in a system that feels unstable. You cannot desire life when your energy is borrowed on credit. This is why breakfast matters more now than it did at 40. Not because you're weaker, but because you're wiser, and your body expects to be treated accordingly. And no, this isn't about overeating. It's about right eating, small portions, clean sources, real food, the kind of food doctors recommend quietly while everyone else is distracted by powders and pills. If this is resonating, stay with me. And if you want more conversations like this, conversations that respect your intelligence and your experience, make sure you stay connected, quietly, intentionally. Because next, I'm going to explain the biggest mistake men make even after they start eating this food. The timing error that cancels its benefits, and the subtle adjustment that transforms it from healthy into genuinely restorative. And once you understand that, you'll realize why so many men try this and quit too soon, without ever experiencing what doctors actually see happen when it's done right. Now listen carefully, because this is where the story turns. Most men who finally add this morning food back into their lives do something subtle and wrong. They eat it distracted. They eat it rushed. They eat it after coffee, after stress, after checking their phone. And then they say, it didn't change much. But the body is precise. It responds not only to what you eat, but to how and when. Doctors understand this. They watch patterns unfold over weeks, not days. And what they see is this. When this food is eaten first, before stimulants, Before urgency, before the nervous system is hijacked, it sends a different message entirely. It tells the body, we are not in survival. We are in care. That message is everything, because once the nervous system feels safe, circulation improves naturally. Blood vessels relax, muscles respond, energy spreads instead of spikes. But when men eat this food after coffee, after stress hormones are already elevated, the signal gets blurred, the body stays guarded. This is why timing is not a detail, it is the mechanism. And here's the deeper truth many men aren't prepared for. This morning ritual is not just nutritional, it's relational. It is the first relationship of your day. How you treat your body in the first hour becomes the template for everything that follows. Your patience, your clarity, your confidence, your desire. Men who nourish first tend to move through the day less reactive. They don't chase stimulation as desperately. They don't collapse as early. They don't feel as disconnected from themselves. And yes, doctors notice something else. Men who get this right often report improvements in places they never expected. Not just energy, not just strength, but responsiveness, sensitivity, presence. Because circulation is not only physical, it's symbolic. When blood flows, life flows. When energy moves, identity follows. This is why ignoring this food has consequences beyond the body. It subtly reinforces the belief that decline is inevitable. That effort won't matter, that it's too late. But the men who change their mornings learn something quietly radical. It's not too late. It was just mistimed. Now let me say this clearly, because it matters. This is not about becoming obsessed with health. It's about restoring trust between you and your body. For years, many men treated their bodies like tools, something to use, something to push, something to ignore until it complained loudly enough. After 60, the body doesn't scream, it withdraws. And this morning food, simple as it is an invitation back into dialogue. A way of saying, I'm listening now. Doctors don't call it a miracle. They call it compliance with biology. But the experience feels miraculous to men who thought their best days were behind them. And this is where I want to challenge you gently, but firmly. If you try this for 3 days and quit, you're missing the point. If you try it without consistency, you're negotiating with old habits. If you try it while secretly hoping it won't work, you're protecting disappointment. Give it time. Give it respect. Give it a real chance. And notice, not just how your body feels, but how your relationship to yourself shifts. Do you stand a little taller? Do you feel less rushed? Do mornings feel less heavy? These are not coincidences. They are signals that your system is remembering how to function with support instead of pressure. If this conversation is landing for you, if it feels like someone is finally speaking to you instead of at you, stay close. Like, subscribe. Keep this dialogue alive, quietly, intelligently, without noise. Because the most important question is not what this morning food is. The real question is this. Are you finally ready to give your body what it's been asking for before it has to ask louder? And if you are, tomorrow morning might become the moment everything starts to shift.